Hey guys, this is Jay with Faith Evolved, where I talk about all things spiritual, philosophical, metaphysical, and mental health. And today we're going to be focusing on the topic of mental health, specifically sensorimotor slash hyperawareness slash somatic OCD. This is my third and final video on this topic, and I'll tell you why. Stay tuned. All right, so to all my faithful subscribers, thank you for your patience. I know it's been at least 2 weeks since I've released a video, and that's because, well, I've been super busy lately. I just signed a contract on a home and paid the appraisal fee and, signed my life away to a lender at ridiculously high mortgage rates compared to only 3 months ago. But you know what? It's better than paying the rent. I'd rather pay towards my own mortgage, have my own home again. I can be as loud as I want with my music, and just have my own little haven. So I'm looking forward to that. We're looking to close June 30th, so videos may be a little sporadic between now and then, but I plan on going 100% all in with this channel once I get settled in my own place, and we'll have a better backdrop in this little apartment, one-bedroom apartment, bedroom that I'm in right now. I'll have my own office. So stay tuned. I'm gonna have much better content coming up, but like I said, today's topic is about sensorimotor OCD, aka hyperawareness, aka somatic OCD. It's all the same thing. It's all based on anxiety. Pretty much any disorder, mental health disorder, is always based on some kind of underlying fear, some kind of underlying anxiety. And so that's one thing that's very important to understand about this condition. And the reason why this is going to be my last video on this topic is because, well, I'm mostly healed of this issue. I might struggle with it, for a few minutes a day, or, maybe I might have a little flare up, but it's nothing that I can't manage, nothing that I haven't already experienced, nothing I don't know how to deal with already. And you got to get to the point where, you can believe that you can become like me. When I first had this issue happen to me, I freaked out, just like most everybody else does. You freak out because you think you're going to always be thinking about, a certain, theme. And if you don't want to hear about these themes, fast forward about 30 seconds. But keep in mind, it doesn't matter. It's all this same anxiety in different forms. But I had blinking, I had breathing, I had swallowing, I had every single theme you could possibly imagine, and I was plagued by all of them. But at the end of the day, it's all the same thing. It's all just fear manifesting in different ways, 1,001 different forms. Doesn't matter. It's all anxiety, which is basically fear. So the reason why this is going to be my last video is because I'm moving on. Now, I'm still leaving my channel open to people to watch videos and reach out to me, and I'll help. But this is going to be my last video on it, because eventually the whole idea is to move on, to leave anxiety behind. And this whole idea that you're going to be stuck with this condition the rest of your life is the biggest lie. Your brain literally cannot focus on one thing 24/7, 365 days a year, maybe 365.25 or whatever, every single day of your life. It's virtually impossible. I can prove it to you. Sit down on the couch and try meditating. In fact, force yourself to think about whatever theme you have. Maybe it's blinking or swallowing or breathing, whatever the case may be. Try to force yourself to think about that for 20 minutes. I guarantee you can't, because your mind will wander. And that's the trick to this, because you literally cannot focus on one thing. People try to sit there and meditate for 20 minutes, and experts can't even do it. So, and actually that's one of the tricks to overcoming this condition, is you need to bore your mind of this ridiculous condition, of this ridiculous fixation that your mind is doing. And really, it's actually not even that. It's actually more simpler than that. And people might not want to hear this, but it's not something that's happening to you. It's not some outside force. It's not some chemical imbalance you've been inflicted with. No, the secret to this condition is you're doing this to yourself. Yeah, I know that hurts, doesn't it? It might be scary, it might be shocking, but that also puts the power back in your hands. That gives you the power to decide, I don't have to do this anymore. You have a choice in the matter. That's the blessing and the beauty of this, is nothing happens to you outside of your control that you don't have some kind of choice. Yeah, you might walk outside and maybe somebody robs you in the alley, or you get into a car accident and your car gets wrecked, or you get injured or something like that. And yeah, you gotta feel the pain, you gotta feel the sting of that, but you decide how you respond to that. When you are sitting there minding your own business, and all of a sudden you start ruminating on a specific condition or a specific theme that you're dealing with, You decide how that makes you feel. You can decide, well, you know what? Okay, I know this is happening right now, but do I have to give in to the fear of it? Do I have to let it bring me down? No, you don't have to do that. So I want anybody that's watching this video who hasn't seen any of my previous videos on this topic to please watch the first 2 videos, because this is going to be more like a recap, more like almost like a recovery story type video where I tell you that it is certainly possible. The biggest lie that this condition tells you is that you'll never feel better. That you're always going to be stuck in this pit of despair and this, adrenaline rush, pit in your stomach, and dread, anxiety, existential crisis, whatever you want to call it, because I've felt all of it. And the biggest lie of it that it tells you is that you are stuck there. There's no hope to get out. But the only one that's telling you that is you. Now you might not be sitting there saying, "I'm screwed, I'm effed," but you have that feeling of that. The feeling is telling you that, and you have the choice to say, "I don't have to latch onto that fear. I don't have to latch onto that feeling." Sometimes even today, like I said, I even sometimes still have bouts of it where it could last sometimes a few minutes or a few hours or a day. But even now when I look at it, it's like it's not happening the entire day. It just comes up. It's like getting triggered. It's like a little past vestige of PTSD that still hits me sometimes. And sometimes people might hear me say that and go, "Oh no, so this could last for years. I might not never recover." Well, think of it this way: do you ever fully recover from the ability to catch a cold? Do you ever recover from the ability to do you like all of a sudden someday like have immunity to mosquito bites? Do you ever have immunity to a sunburn or any other kind of gnawing or any kind of annoying gnat that might try to bug you when you go outside on a spring day? There's no way to completely avoid all disappointments and all annoyances and all pain that you could possibly experience in life. It's gonna happen, folks, and you have to accept it. And part of it is accepting that you're gonna, you might have to, for the rest of your life, be vigilant against allowing yourself to give into this. But it gets easier every single time. There's gonna be a point in time where and this happened to me too, when I was finally working on my recovery and working on, thinking more positively and realizing my worth and that I have control and I deserve happiness and joy. I can actually choose that. There's gonna be a point of confusion where you're like, some days you're gonna be like, how is it that it's possible that I've gone 3 hours or 6 hours or even a day without ruminating on a specific sensation or thought or theme or whatever the case may be? You'll be a little confused at first, but don't be confused. That's part of the process. You're starting to trust yourself again, because really the root of the problem of this issue is, why are you doing this to yourself? Because you don't trust yourself. You don't love yourself. You're not confident in yourself. You're insecure. You feel like the world is against you in some way. You feel like this is some kind of infliction and you're some kind of victim. And I'm sorry, this might get you upset, but this is the facts. Because if it happened to me, I know what led up to that. I was going through a divorce. I was moving and I lost, my full-time job and had to be a contractor. I lost thousands of dollars because I went through so much depression and anxiety that I couldn't afford the house that I was renting. I had to move back in with my ex for a little while. Thank God we're still friends and she allowed me to do that while I got back on my feet. So, it's you got to get to the point where, at some point after you're going through all this stuff, that you decide that you are worthy of love and you're worthy of peace and you're worthy of joy. And it's all going to come back to, ultimately, if you go down the rabbit hole deep enough, you have to come to the point where there's a source to that. Is an identity that you attach to. And that's what I like to call God. Some people call it source. Some people call it she or he, or whatever the case may be, a higher power. You have to believe that you're a part of something bigger. It's the whole thought of separation, the whole thought that you're stuck in your own mind, you're screwed, you're on the outside looking in, everybody else is happy enjoying their lives, and you're, dying on the inside, and sometimes you even want to kill yourself because it's so depressing, it's so despairing, and you're just going through the worst possible emotions you can possibly imagine that you wouldn't wish on anybody else, speaking from personal experience here, and you feel like there's no hope for you because you're stuck. You're in your own world. You're cut off from the rest of the world. And that's the biggest lie that you've taught yourself. It's all about the lie of the ego, the belief that you're separate from God, that you're separate from the universe. And that is what causes us to become an island and then start self-imploding. So I really highly suggest getting into some kind of spiritual practice, or at least seeking. If you don't believe in God or spirit, seek it out, because that's what's going to give you some kind of sense of purpose, that you belong, that you're included, that you're worthy, that you're a part of, something so much better than yourself, bigger than yourself. Because what is the alternative? The alternative is there's no hope. You're on your own. You're your own God, and you got to struggle through this life and through this existence to figure out some kind of meaning and create some meaning out of nothing, because otherwise life has no inherent meaning and no purpose if there's no God or higher power that you've come from. And I believe that we're all a part of God. And if you were God, wouldn't you want to be happy? Wouldn't you want to have joy, peace, and just and pleasure? Well, if that's the case, then if there is a God, then that God would want that for you too. Nobody experiences joy and doesn't want to share it with somebody else. If you go to the store and you find, you're the best deal on something that you've always wanted, or you've had the best tasting ice cream or steak, or you found the most amazing band that wrote the most amazing song, do you want to just sit there and enjoy it to yourself? No, you inherently want to share that with somebody else. That's the reason why I have this channel, because I want to share the things I've learned and my experiences and my growth over the past few years. I can't keep it to myself because I know how much it sucks. I know how much this condition sucks. All right? And I know how much hope that spirituality and God and books like the Rancho book, A Course in Miracles, Conversations with God, and just countless other spiritual gurus, if you want to call them that, like Eckhart Tolle or T.L. Swan, and I could name countless, but those are the two that just came to the top of my head, and that all have given me hope that it's not me versus the world, that I don't have to be a victim. I chose to be a victim. Now, of course, I understand people say, well, I didn't choose, the things that happened to me growing up, the abuse, maybe someone was sexually assaulted as a child, or molested, or, maybe somebody was bullied in school like I was, yeah, I get that, and some people say, oh, that we, some spiritual gurus might say that we attracted that through law of attraction. You don't have to totally understand how that would have happened. Maybe we came to this planet to experience hardships so we can see the contrast, so that when we see love, that we can understand it better. That's one of the spiritual, metaphysical philosophies out there. Yeah, now we've been through hell, so now we can appreciate heaven. Okay, fine. Regardless of whether we attracted that to ourselves or not, we're living in the present now. We're not in the past anymore. The past doesn't exist anymore. We're here, right now. Even the future doesn't exist. We can create that. But what I'm talking about is we have the power right now to say, I'm recreating myself. I don't have to stick to, all the past definitions I've given myself or even other people have given me. This is the time for you to start realizing that you can mold your experience and you can change your future by letting the past go. And all the past experiences that you had that didn't serve you, you can go, well, I learned what I don't want. And all the past experiences that you did have that you loved, you can say, I see what I do like, and then work with that and believe that you're worth, enjoying your life and loving. I mean, heck, there are other people out there enjoying their lives, who gave them the authority? How dare they, right? How dare they have such good lives while we're suffering over here with the worst condition known to mankind, or one of them anyway. It's like, well, no one is, and we're doing this to ourselves. We're telling ourselves these lies. So that's what I mean by we're doing this to ourselves. It's not that we're choosing necessarily to, purposely hurt ourselves. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we're choosing to latch on to unworthiness and insecurity and hopelessness to this condition. And this condition is just a repeating, like it's like a vicious cycle or a closed loop that just confirms this over and over again. Yep, we're screwed. Yep, we're stuck. And that's just, we can decide to flip the script on that and say, no, we don't have to suffer with this anymore. I don't have to ascribe worthlessness and fear and sadness and despair to this condition. This is just, a symptom of a deeper issue. And actually, I think, and Michael Murnica, who does Mind on Majesty, he was the one that helped me get through this a couple years ago, 3 years ago now, almost. And, you know, and he was instrumental in helping me understand, you know, that we can get through this, you know. And then when I saw him getting better, I can go, oh, if he got better, I can get better. And there was some other point I was going to make about that, but I forget. But anyways, you know, it's not a life sentence unless you believe it is. Then it could be a life sentence. But that's the key. You can change your beliefs. You can change how you feel about it. And over time, it'll take some time, because it's like a train going 100 miles an hour one direction. You know, you already have momentum. You have to slow it down first, and then come to a stop, and then start going in the other direction. And the biggest things I say to everybody that reaches out to me, I've had dozens of people reach out to me. The biggest thing I will say is, stop Googling it. Stop feeding the fire with gasoline. Don't ask for reassurance. That doesn't mean you don't deserve love and reassurance and happiness and worthiness and all that stuff. It's more about, when you're seeking out for reassurance, it means you don't feel secure in yourself. You don't think your mind is powerful enough to heal yourself and to change your mind to more positivity. You know, you believe that you have to reach out to somebody else and give your power away. This is what I told somebody yesterday. You're giving your power away to somebody else. You don't believe that you can get better and that you even deserve happiness. You have to flip that script. No one else is telling you that but yourself. In fact, if you ask anybody else, they'll probably think higher than you think of yourself. They want to see you more happy than you feel you deserve to be. I mean, think how ironic and silly that is, you know? No. Every time that comes up, you go, nope, I'm worthy. I'm a son of God. I am, a part of the whole spirit realm. I belong. I'm part of it, and they want that for me. You know, and I just need to stop fighting it. I need to let love in, and then once you start having more confidence in yourself, and plus other positive habits like meditation, which I always recommend to everybody who's struggling with this. In fact, even meditate on your themes. That'll be one quick way to, number one, bore your brain with it, and two, put you to sleep if you have insomnia. That's what helped me. And, you know, having positive thoughts, having positive, healthy choices as far as like your diet and exercise. You know, go for a walk every single day. And whenever your anxiety tells you not to do it, like if you feel like, oh man, I'm suffering really hard right now, I don't want to go for a, do it anyway. All right, do it anyway. Tell the OCD to F itself. Sometimes you got to get a little angry and say, no, I don't have to give into this BS. You know, would you walk down an alley and see a bunch of guys that want to jump you and do worse? You know, would you just say, here, take me, just rape me? Just, you know, I'm sorry to use such a harsh example, but would you let that happen willfully? No. All right. So why would you let this condition rape you? Screw that. You know, get up and pull your big boy pants up, put your boots on, and have some self-respect. Stop throwing yourself to the wolves, you know? And I'm not saying this to come down on you and tell you, you've done badly. No, you just thought badly. And that's what I was doing to myself. I'm only telling you the things that I needed to hear 3 years ago when I was going through the hell of this situation. So, again, like I said, have some, positive practices, do the things you love, meditate, and just abandon OCD and anxiety. Don't research it. Don't Google it. Let this be the last video you watch on it. Unless you haven't watched my other 2 videos yet, because they have more concrete examples. But just, if you need to reach out to me for help, I don't have a problem with that. But, and I'm actually more than willing to help with that. But it's the point is, you don't want to, keep on putting gas on the fire. That's the biggest problem with this condition, is people just, they keep stoking the flames and keep looking at the problem and asking the problem for the answer. Well, the problem can only give you the problem. It can't give you the answer. You need to abandon the problem altogether. The answer is, you need love, joy, peace, and happiness in your life, and you need to believe you're a part of something bigger and that you're worthy of it. And then focus in that direction. And anytime that crap pops up, it's just a distraction trying to pull your attention away. And it's going to be hard at first, but if I can do it, anybody can do it. Because I think I had this condition worse than anybody on the planet You know, I was ready to check myself into a mental hospital and I was suicidal, or just a notch above suicidal. So if I can pull myself out of this, of course, you don't have to do it alone. There's help from your brothers and sisters out there who've been through it like me and God. And if you just give them a chance, there's a chance for you, more than a chance for you. That's a guarantee that you will get out of this. So, but don't focus on getting out of the OCD, and don't focus on fixing it, because that's another trick that people get stuck on. You can't fix OCD. All you can do is completely divert your attention to the things you want and to loving things and positive things, and what will happen is over time, OCD will lose awareness in your mind. That's the answer. That's the trick. That's the secret. I hope this video has been helpful. Again, if you want to reach out to me, if you really need to, if you're in a crisis point, my contact information is in the About section of my YouTube channel. And if this content has been helpful to anybody out there, please like and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell to get notified anytime I release new videos. But this will be the last video on this topic, but I will leave this video and the other 2 videos up in case anybody needs to watch them. All right, guys, thank you and God bless. And you can do this. Peace.